you see him, the enlightened one who has seen the truth and solutions to all our suffering in our life. A person that looks like everyone else but yet is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. There is nothing to do but have love for the person sitting right there in front of you. And you want it too. You want the solution to suffering, to find how to be happy and fulfilled. And after years of searching in different paths from religion to spiritual awakening, could it be that this person, this exalted being, finally has the answers that you've been looking for? Can he really make me be like him? I will stand by his guidance in order to reach that state of being, for there is nowhere else where I could possibly learn this. This is what probably all the people were thinking of as they watched the Buddha and listened to his teachings, except one named Siddhartha, who was of the strict conviction that even Buddha himself could not help. Much like other people on this journey, Siddhartha went on countless paths in order to find fulfillment, along with his friend. They went through multiple religions, monks, and even now the awakened one. But while his friend has found himself drawn to the teachings, Siddhartha couldn't have been further away from it. His love for the Buddha was immense and even acknowledges him as the enlightened one, but he did not believe that he could teach him how to become free. He thought that the Buddha found enlightenment himself, not by the means of learning from others, but by himself. Siddhartha had already went on the path of learning from others and nothing had come out of it, and learning from Buddha was not gonna be any different. On the decision of rejecting the teachings of Buddha, he told himself that if he was even able to reject Buddha himself, then he would never accept anyone's teachings except his own. So he left the monks, and more importantly, his friend. Now alone on this journey, he will find a way to be enlightened, just like Buddha. What path would you take? Would you take the path of the friend and go along learning the lessons of the one who has found the truth with the possibility of never actually finding full fulfillment? Or would you go on your own like Siddhartha, to a path where you don't know where it will lead, maybe to misfortune or to actual happiness? The choice may be easy to answer for some of you. I mean, who would settle for potentials? If you could find a way to be happy, then why should you settle? So let's for our story go along on the path of Siddhartha. In his case, all these years of unsuccessful spiritual awakening have made him doubt them, so he eventually starts noticing the present, the nature around him, the animals, the beauty of the world stimulating his senses. I really don't want to talk about how he came to that conclusion, but in short, it came to him in a dream where his best friend turned into a woman and he started doing some weird shit that I really can't talk about. Just trust me, it's bizarre, and save yourself the trauma or read it yourself. So all his life he was so focused on meditation, fasting, thinking, that he didn't see this beauty. So the goal that he found himself on was to explore the world of senses. He went across the river into the city, full of people with every kind of status, young, old, rich, broke. In there he found a woman that he wanted to learn the art of love from. Didn't want any teachers, but yet found a teacher to love, to teach him how to love. That's kind of weird. Anyways, he found himself indulging in even more sensations. He started wearing good clothes compared to the rugs that he was wearing before. He ate good, he earned money, he had a house, no more of the begging in the villages for food like all the other monks did. In today's terms, broke boy went rich, and now that he indulged himself in these pleasures, he forgot his spiritual teachings. He stopped fasting, stopped meditating, and stopped thinking. Gone was the old Siddhartha, and in was the new one. So far, what do you think? Is the journey still worth it? He is now consumed by lust, greed, and gluttony. Is it going to end up good for him if he keeps it that way? You might think, well, it was his fault that he forgot his teachings. If it were you in his place, you would have found the balance between spirituality and sensations and you would have lived good. Okay, Mr. Buddha, show him how to do it. Someone that has never ever experience pleasures and make him resist the temptations purely by will. Eve couldn't do it, Siddhartha couldn't do it, so you wouldn't too. Anyways, so the years passed where Siddhartha was consumed by pleasures, until again, in a dream, this time not so weird of a dream, he dreamt of his lover's pet bird in a cage. The bird was dead. Siddhartha, interpreting the bird as himself and the cage as the city and the pleasures that he had indulged himself in, he finally realized that he had fallen in a trap and decided to leave the city for good. But he gave the lover a little bit of that Siddhartha, if you know what I mean, which totally won't come back to bite him, you know. On his way back into the woods, feeling spiritually and physically defeated, he sat on the side of the river where he came from. The spiritual and the physical had led him to nowhere. Nowhere to go and nowhere to be. In that moment, Siddhartha thought that drowning was the only way out. As he lowers his head down in the river, looking at his reflection, he is ready to do it. But at the last second, his spirit awakens. The river talks to him and prevents the suicide attempt, realizing what a foolish decision that was. Again, I am asking you, is this the right path? He almost killed himself and only survived by a miracle, from all the intense spiritual training that eventually woke up and stopped him. But we don't have that training in us. We can't allow ourselves to be overcome by pleasure to the point where we have nothing left, because it's highly unlikely that we can prevent what Siddhartha prevented. So after this whole incident, Siddhartha resolves to live his life beside the river. And soon after, he encounters the same ferryman that helped him cross the river towards the city all these years ago. Siddhartha both the first time and now noticed how happy the ferryman seemed, so he asked if he can take refuge with him and be his assistant. From then on, he learns that the river has many secrets to tell and lessons to offer, and that it will help Siddhartha learn these secrets and lessons. After years of learning from the river and the ferryman himself, who insisted that he was not a teacher but simply a ferryman, Siddhartha found his own enlightenment, own source of happiness. Maybe not the same prophet-esque awakening like Buddha, but nonetheless, Siddhartha, for the first time since all of his travels, felt in the right place. As for the friend of Siddhartha, they did in fact meet all these years after by chance. The friend didn't notice him, but when Siddhartha reminded him who he was, they went on to share their experiences. Turns out, even from all the searching and lessons learned, the friend still hasn't found the answer, whereas Siddhartha has seemingly found it. So it seems Siddhartha made the right choice after all, right? But how sure are we that he was right? His initial ambition was to not learn from anyone else but himself, yet he learned from his lover, learned from his merchant that told him the business, learned from the ferryman, and learned from the river. The thing that he tried to escape from ended up being both his doom and his salvation. So in this sense, the friend was right. But where the main difference comes between them is the chase. Both were chasing at the start the same thing, fulfillment. And the only person that managed to achieve it was the one that stopped trying to find it. Maybe our answer isn't by the side of a river with an old-ass ferryman that tells us to listen to the river like some weird-ass stonehead. Maybe it's somewhere else, but it doesn't really matter where. What I think matters to take away from this book is that you should not put that much pressure into finding happiness. The more you seek it from somewhere specifically, the more hatred you will create from the fact that it hasn't come to you. And since it hasn't come, we chase it even more, either from the same thing or from something else that won't even work too. Happiness comes from seemingly nothing, from the simplest things. The ferryman is no Buddha, yet all his life was happy and satisfied by his life by the river. And the same happened to Siddhartha. Even though eventually he had a little father-son issues, I told you it would come back to him when he fucked Kamala, but nevertheless he still found satisfaction. And what I will take from the book is that If something is making you feel out of place, no amount of pursuing other things will help, but allowing the feelings to exist, to not be afraid of them, not only because being afraid of them will consume me more, but because allowing them makes me appreciate the happiness that it actually gives me, rather than focus only on the unsettling emotions. What do you think from the book, or whatever I yapped about in this video? Let me know in the comments. Also, read this fucking book. It's short and really easy to read, so read it, yeah. Bye bye.